$2 billion with a B, baby, capital B, in sales. 35,000 hours of live TV. One of the first ever pioneers TV home shopping network legend. The first commercials, the first hosts, legendary, incredible trekking record. Today you are in for a treat. For a treat. I'm your host, Carlos Cicada, in the house, ready to rumble. It's about to go down. And with our special guest coming over here in any second to revolutionize the way we shop. And let's get ready. Mr. Doctor of Shopology, welcome to the stage, John Cremeans.
Hey there, Carlos. How's it going?
I'm doing phenomenal, my friend. Super excited to have you on the show. This is long due. We've been talking about it, and I'm so happy that we found the time to coordinate last minute to make it happen with our busy schedules.
And look, it's wild because I've got you on my video wall behind me, but I'm actually broadcasting this to all my followers and the people watching us on TikTok that I usually do Monday through Friday, 5 to 8, 8 to 10 rather, East Coast time. So yeah, they're watching while we're talking.
Yes, I'm super excited, guys. And guys, I want you guys to join us always on TikTok, bringing massive value at John Cremeans, and you can look him up, 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐴𝐻.com. John and I, we are very good friends. We've been speaking around the world for a very long time. And whenever we meet on masterminds, on the stages, we always go out, we sneak out, and we go to karaoke, normally in the barrios. We go to these very fancy places that we speak, you know. Everybody's in Vegas, right, at the nice fancy hotels. And John and I, hey, bro, let's go to the barrio, to the karaoke where the locals go. You know, you can buy a bottle of scotch for like $300. We have always a great time. And I was telling John, I really wanted to have this show for a long time, for us to go deep, because a lot of you guys are out there selling something. You know, whether you sell online, you sell on TV, you sell on anywhere, everybody's selling something. And John is actually known as the master of the pitch, the doctor of shopology. And let me tell you guys something, ladies and gentlemen. It's the magic and understanding sales psych is so important, especially for you guys that sell online and on TV. Just the fact by you turning your face to the left or to the right can affect your sales when we're looking at metrics. And trust me, I have some experience on this, but John is the legend, as he's been pretty much the pioneer of this. So let's go back there, John, to the early beginnings.
Yeah.
Where were, John, one of your first on-air home shopping hosts? Like, where were you? Take us back in that time.
All right.
You know, why at the beginning? How did you get started in this unique industry?
I definitely can do that because I was very lucky. I was a senior in high school. I ended up being on a local radio station in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and basically one of the youngest DJs in the Twin City market. And then about a year later, I had been an operations manager, news director. I had an afternoon show. And then basically my brother was going to work for a guy named John Menard. And John Menard was going to build a home shopping channel, just like HSN, QVC. They all went up about the same time. So I went up on America's Value Network. You pretty much imagine that would be me, right? So that's how I got my name, the Doctor of Shopology. One of the first times that we were taking phone calls on the air, a woman, there I am, as a matter of fact. Nice. And forget Ron Burgundy. I was Ron Burgundy. But so basically, I'm telling you everything about this product. We didn't have a lot of product knowledge back then, so we had to do a lot of our own research. And she goes, John, you seem to know everything about that. What are you, the Doctor of Shopology? I said, well, yes, I am. And that is the beginning. That's how the Doctor of Shopology became legend, I guess. But then I went to the Cable Value Network. Then later I ended up at HSN back in 1989 and did a long run there over 30 years. Also then became an international product expert. So I was on QVC London, QVC Italy, HSC 24 in Munich, Germany, bringing products, cleaning products, home solution products. And you don't have that kind of longevity, or better yet, have those kind of opportunities to go and be an international like home shopping guest or a product expert unless you have people that trust you, and the honesty that you have to have and the integrity that you have when you're presenting your products, your ideas, your inventions. And just like I'm talking to you now on Carlos's show, and I'm looking at you here, basically there could be thousands, there could be millions of people watching on different kinds of screens, their phones, their iPads, their laptops, whatever. But when they're looking at their screen, it's me talking to you. So you see, everybody gets the same experience. So you're not like going, "Hey guys, welcome to all you watching and everything." No, I'm talking to you, and you could be one of the millions that could be watching. And Carlos has seen it. He knows what I'm talking about. It's one of those things where you look at that little light on your camera, or the light on your laptop, or wherever you're using your screen to broadcast, and you're looking at that as a person. Could be your brother, could be your sister, could be your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, right? But you're talking to that person. That little green dot is them. But in relation, if you can do it right, everybody thinks you're talking to them.
Yes. No, man, I love it. Guys, if you guys, John is sharing some tremendous amount of wisdom here, right? Just imagine, as you guys, because that's why it's important to really master, right? Master your pitch, master your speaking. Yeah, communications is one of the, if you're going to invest in something, invest in yourself. This is the number one skill set that you can master, is be able to better communicate, especially nowadays that we do everything online. Like John said, just looking at that dot, at your TV, at your camera, and the person's feel like when I'm on the stage, and if you're doing an intervention, everybody in the room thinks I am talking to them, even though I'm addressing one person that may be a little depressed or anxious, or they've been struggling. So when we ask our hands, like, pay attention to John, to myself, to Gary V, when we are speaking on stage or online, and we have somebody ask us a question, we're doing a Q&A. Even though we are addressing that person, we're talking to all of you. That's why you guys often feel, oh, wow, he hears me. He understands me. And when you're able to do that, because that's what sales is, right? It's a transfer of feeling. So whatever you are selling, like John selling $2 billion in products over TV, I sold $1 billion in products over B2B, and on online, it's a whole nother level because we understand those elements. And John, speaking of that, let's talk about the evolution of TV shopping into now online and social media. I mean, you've seen the evolve over 3 decades. What are some of the significant changes that you personally witness in the world of TV shopping, and some pro tips that you can give to the audience now that maybe been struggling selling their products online?
Well, so shopping, years ago when it first started, here's how television shopping actually began. And you always hear the story about the can openers being sold from a radio station, the HSN story, right? With Bob Zercosta, and then he was selling can openers, and then they took it to TV. But what opened up the space so that television shopping channels could even exist was the fact that, if you remember when we were kids, or maybe you may not have been born yet, but television used to stop. Have you ever watched Poltergeist, the movie?
Yes.
You remember how they would go and all of a sudden you have the national anthem, and then whoop, and then you have like a gray screen, or you might have a test pattern all night long? From midnight until 6 a.m., the Federal Trade Commission, the FCC rather, Federal Communications Commission, had said nobody could broadcast in those time periods. So there was no live television at all. So a group of guys, one of them being Kevin Harrington and several others, got together. They lobbied Congress, they lobbied the FCC, and got them to open up that midnight to 6 space. So all of a sudden, they had live programs, and TV stations were ready for it. So they were doing these live selling programs. Yeah, I mean, throughout the years. And basically, that's how television shopping first got on your television screen. It was the fact that a group of guys said, you know what, let's use that space. There's 6 hours of airtime that are going out all over the globe that aren't being used. So then, of course, the shopping channels started taking over that space, infomercials as well. I've done over 40 infomercials that have done all over the world, globally, which is kind of wild to see myself in different countries, different languages. But that was the start. And then the first shopping channels Basically, they would bring a product and they would give it to the host and say, okay, here, Carlos, take that. Now, Carlos would go, what the hell is that? I mean, it could be just, it's a, like they call it a floribunda basket, Carlos. It is a handmade ceramic basket of flowers. Okay, so what are you going to do with that? How are you going to sell that on TV? Well, there's a way. You come up with a name. So that little basket of flowers that had the leaves that were so tiny, but you could see the fingerprints of the artisan on every single flower, every single petal, every little leaf. And you look, it's beautiful colors. You come up with the word Capodimonte, the top of the hill. And all of a sudden you're talking about the artisans, the craftsmen that create this magnificent floribunda basket, which, yeah, they're really sharp, by the way. I actually cut myself on air with one. And I'm going, look at the fingerprints. I'm going, well, wait a minute. Those are my fingerprints. There's blood there.
Wow, brother. I'm telling you, John. And since we're talking about, cool stuff, I actually go behind the scenes. I mentor some great people in my lifetime that have been on TV, on movies, music. And I love talking about the stuff that nobody sees, that we don't talk about, that is actually behind the scenes. Some of you guys watching us live, drop it in below if you want to hear some behind the scenes never spoken before. but look what we are doing here, right? We John and I, we're very entertainers, right? You gotta be entertainers when we're having shows. Look at the tonality of our voices or sounds. All these elements is so important, guys. As you guys are speaking, as you are talking, as you are hosting, those elements help you guys advance so much farther. You just imagine the amount of energy that takes to put in those tens of thousands of hours. And that's why John and I was very effective at selling billions of dollars, in products and services. It does take a lot of tactics and strategies. But John, with over 35,000 live hours in your belt, my friend,
and a lot,
some memorable behind the scenes moments that the audience never gets to see.
No, well, so okay. So think about that for 35,000 hours. Just to give you an idea how large a number that is. If you took Johnny Carson, you took Jay Leno, you took any of the late night TV hosts, and put all their hours of live television together, they would never come up even close to 35,000 hours of live television. That is a lot of time to be out in front of 90 million people. And it's one of those things where, Carlos was saying, we talk and we could talk for hours, right? I originally back, the first shopping channel I did 6 hours in the morning. So I did 9 o'clock until 3 in the afternoon. And then I came back at night and worked 9 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Wow.
So we were doing 6 straight hours. And think about this. You don't know what the product is. I mean, they're literally going to give you a box. And in that box might be a product that has no instructions, has no how you're going to use it, what you're going to do with it. You've got to come up with it on the fly. And so that means you have to either look at the product beforehand, kind of got an idea of how you're going to sell it. Think about the features, the benefits, and how it's going to relate to the people that watch you. But there were times I had no idea. I mean, they actually brought to me a little, like a stuffed puppy, like a little toy in a basket. What are you going to do with that for 5 minutes? You can't. You're coming up with all kinds of things. I mean, it's like it's a puppy in a basket with fries. I mean, whatever. It's just you have no idea until you actually get out there what it's like to sell something on the fly. And we had to be good at it. Now, one of the things that gave me the longevity to be on 35,000 hours is that I did my research, that I didn't oversell a product. I didn't tell you a feature that it didn't have. I always sold the product for its value. The product was always the star. On a lot of shopping channels today, even my good friend Steve Bryant is noticing this as well. He was a host on QVC for many years. He was one of the founding hosts on television shopping. Is that now the hosts want to be the star, and they're taking the perception of the product being the star and trying to make them sell. They think that's going to sell the product. I can tell you right now, unless those people trust you and they've only seen you for maybe a year or 2 years, they're not going to trust you at all. And they certainly won't buy something on TV, sight unseen, where they can't touch it, if all you're talking about is yourself. So then the product's got to be the star. You got to talk about the features, relate it to the audience, relate it to how they're going to be able to use it, what they'll be able to do with it, and envision, if they, even though they close their eyes, they could envision from what you're telling them that they're using that product. So, I mean, years ago, we had no information. That was the big thing. A lot of things are being said about product that we had no idea what it was, right? So if I was going to give away one of the things there, but also in a way to help you when you're selling your own product, your own idea, your own invention, is that know your product inside and out. Be an expert in it because you created it. You spent all the time making it. You're the expert and you'll do better with it.
Yes. Now, that's such a great pro tip, John. As you were talking here, right? I have a lot of consultants and coaches that follow me on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, I often tell people it's a gold mine right now. A lot of people they are not, you can get a lot of businesses and help a lot of people on LinkedIn. And then even if you are starting out, you can work on performance and you can demonstrate your value and then people will pay you. You know, you have them share the balance sheet with you and you demonstrate what you're able to do. And if you increase, double, triple their revenues in the next couple of months, they'll be happy to give you a percentage. Trust me. Now, because if you have the superpower that John have, that I have within sales, you just help these people. You show, don't tell. Just like John is talking about over here. And this is such a great pro tip, John. It reminds me of back in the day, I was just first got married, and I would go to this place in Oakland, Northern California, called Tourette's Without Regrets. And it was a comedy joint. A lot of guys that would go on HBO and Showtime, the comedians, they would go there early on in their careers. And what they would do, we would enroll ourselves, and then it would go poetry slams, rap battle, anything would go. And then they would give us a topic. And then they know that I like to speak. And I was like, okay, Mr. Executive sales trainer. And then they would give me a Shakespeare poem, to be or not to be. I was like, oh, come on, that's too easy. They thought that in their mind that it was difficult, but it's an exercise that I want you guys practicing at home. Go around the table, have them give you a poem, a quote from Shakespeare or a quote from the early Roman empires. And now you got to sell something and talk about something around that quote that's going to inspire the other person, ideally to take action, because that's through leadership, right?
Yeah.
You inspire somebody to take action. But I love that pro tip and big time. And right back to my point, when you guys are hearing CEOs of company, every quarter they are doing their numbers, right? They hop on a call and they are addressing the markets. Pay attention to what they are saying. They're talking about their wins, their losses. Go and make a comment on their social media. You want to do consulting? You want to get a $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 deal with a corporation, with a Fortune 50, 100 company? Understand what are their worst nightmares. What is keeping them up at night? They got numbers to produce. They have a board of advisors to be able to talk to increase company dividends. So a little pro tip. Exactly, that goes right into what John is. Understand your audience, who you're talking to, their pains, what is it keeping them up at night. And my friend, pitching perfection. I mean, you've been presented over 100,000 products. Would it go into crafting the perfect pitch? And part two, how do you keep it fresh and engaging every time? So it's a two-part product, right? What it goes into perfecting the perfect pitch, and notes, guys. Writing is the doing part.
Well, think about it. Everything we've done in our lives, from the time that you were a child, from the time that you first tried to get an ice cream cone from your mom and dad, and you did something nice for them because you knew that you were going to bribe them, it was a pitch. Your life is a pitch. Everything you do when you're trying to motivate somebody, you're talking with your teammates, you're in business, and you're trying to sell an idea and get people on your side. Because you know it's going to work. It's all about the pitch. And the pitch has to be something that you know inside and out. You have to be an expert. And one of the things that I teach people in the whole crafting of a pitch is, first, you got to be authentic. You have to be able to look at your audience, whether it's live in front of crowds like Carlos and I have done on boards and meetings and things like that, or if you're on the screen that we're on now. Now, you might be watching us on a phone. You might be on your iPad Pro, your your laptop. Maybe you're watching it on your TV. You flipped it up there so you can watch the video. But the person that's talking to you, like I'm talking to you now, there has to be an authentic nature. And I go in one of my books that I created called The Authentic You. And basically it's all about this one-on-one connection that we're having right now. Because if you start to feel, and you can actually see me, hear me, see that I'm authentic and I'm not trying to put on an air, I'm not trying to be over the top. I'm just talking like if you and I were in a coffee shop somewhere, or, I was sitting on the couch with you around your patio, having a cigar or something. But it's that conversation. And if you're able to take this one-on-one communication, I call the authentic you, and then put it into your pitch, which means you've learned about a product, you've either created it or you've learned how to sell it. So you were taught the features, the benefits. You need to then take those features and benefits and create it so that anybody watching could have you on in the background just as a voice, but in their mind's eye, they're visualizing the fact that they're using that product. They can see it in their life. You have to be able to take this authentic communication like we're doing now, even though it's on a small screen, and be able to make it so that they believe, and you have to be true enough yourself too, that when you're talking to them, you are talking to them like you're next door, or you're right in the same room. And once they get that connection, that one-on-one authenticity, you then are going to be able to get them to buy things. You can influence them, meaning you can influence them or inspire them to be better. You can motivate them because they're going to believe that they're talking to their friend John, or their friend John is talking to them. And basically everybody's having the same experience, even though they're all thinking that John is talking just to them, right? Like I'm talking to you right now. So that's how this works. And that authenticness in it, not a lot of people can do it. You see people on TV a lot. They always look off. They want to see what they look like on camera, or they're looking at something in the studio. Well, that's distraction. That's things that will take your audience, a person like you and me talking right now, all of a sudden you start going off like, what is he looking at? You lose track of the motivation and the line of the pitch that I'm getting to get you there. And after every time that you tell someone how they could envision it in their lives, make sure you ask for the order. Most people think the pitch is you're just selling. Hey, buy now. The clock is on the screen. There's only 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. It's not always about that. It's about being able to visualize yourself, because your friend John, who's on your screen right now, said, you know what, this will be perfect in your kitchen. You'll be able to use it. You'll make some of the most amazing dinners. And here's my buddy Wolfgang Puck telling you more about what he does with it. And the next thing you know, you're not just talking to John, you're part of the conversation. And even though we may not be able to hear you, you're part of it. And we know you're there. So once you get those features and benefits, and that you envision yourself being there, working with John, and there's Wolfgang Puck, oh, John looks like he's loving his food, I got to buy that. John's asking for the order. John's saying, hey, now, if you'd like to get one of these, and you want to try this out, this recipe, you've got to call us. You've got to go right now, go online, whatever. You do that and work it in, so it's not much like, buy it, buy it, buy it. It's more like, hey, if you want to be like this, or you'd like to try this, you got to go. You make it part of the conversation, so that the pitch isn't over the top. It's not unreal. It's not, in your face. It's part of the conversation. And you can get into the flow, it becomes natural. And most people don't even realize that you're selling them stuff, Carlos. I mean, it's that kind of that feeling that, they see Carlos and they go, oh, I love him. He's inspired me. I like he's gregarious. He's a great guy. I can tell that he's probably a lot of fun to be around and talk to, and he's got a lot of information. And oh, there's John. He's doing the same thing. So it's what we've done over the years, and sometimes it takes practice. There's some people that are natural at it. I've just been lucky that I've had over 30,000 hours, 35,000 hours to perfect it and be better at it. Because I think if I'm good at that, if I'm good at being authentic and being an expert in the product that I'm selling, then I'm doing a good service. And I think that I'm sure that you're the same way. You want your audience and the people that are listening to you to really do it and know that you have their best interest in heart.
Yes. No, man, I love it, Don. Like, for example, I have a very strong vetting process in one of my companies where we help people getting paid to speak on stages. We have a very strong vetting process, right? They got to fill it up, a questionnaire. They got to get on a Zoom. They got to tell us their story, why they want to be on that stage, right? As you and I know, a lot of people are on stages that they shouldn't be on the stages because they are charging people $10, $20, $30, $50,000 and they're not delivering on their promise, right?
Yeah.
They are selling the sizzle, but there is no sizzle, right? They are telling them how to
sizzle without the steak.
Without the steak, right? Like, hey, let me teach you how to make a lot of money in real estate, but then you don't want a piece of real estate. Let me teach you how to make money getting paid from the stage or speaking on more stages, but they don't have no tracking record that we can go and look them up, look the endorsements. And not only that, now it comes of the part of the things that you and I teach in our own ways are so powerful that we have to be careful who we teach it to, because there is things that we teach that bypasses the conscious mind, and the conscious guys are always debating and hesitating. But the subconscious mind says yes instantly, and just like John was talking about over here, often without people even realizing it. So you have to be very, very careful who do you teach this to, because if the person has evil intentions or wrong intentions or doesn't deliver on their programs that they are selling or have bad reviews online, those are the things. That's why I have a waiting list. People often ask me, why do you have a waiting list? Why not? You're like, no, because you got to have a standard of who you're going to help, who you are going to teach, who are you going to consult. And that's why I love interviewing people like you and some of my friends, so that we can deliver so much value from our podcast that we record every week live Wednesday, Thursdays, and then we release on Mondays at 7:17 Pacific.
Yeah.
Every Monday, on your way to commute, on your way to the gym, just by going to 𝐼𝐸𝐠𝐼nspireshow.com, and so, this is so powerful. And for you guys that wanted to go deep, as I'm getting ready here to ask John the next questions, you guys want to learn a little bit more about this. John, where can they find your book? The best place for them to read it?
So it's available on Apple, Apple Books. It's also available on Amazon, so you can find the Authentic You. And it is I actually have two books, and what the one that really will help you if you want to learn how to pitch an invention or idea or a process is and it's so that go to book. It's the one that it's a great primer to doing better things and to being a better presenter, a better pitchman, a better motivator, a better inspirer. Is inspirer a word?
Here's what we just later, brother.
It takes you right down a path, and then when you're learning about your product or your idea and everything, that's the tour. And the tour is being able to go from the top to the bottom, side to side, back to front, and be able to without anyone seeing the product or the idea that you're trying to sell, be able to understand it when they close their eyes. You're being that motivational. You're being that good with your words. You created and crafted a pitch that has a lot of expertise in it, that they understand that you know what you're talking about, that you are part of it. One of the things I actually do, Carlos, that is a book called The Words That Sell. Have you seen that book before?
No, the book?
And it's called Words That Sell. So what this book is, if you go every page, it gives you all the words that can sell a product or an idea or an invention, right? And it goes from A to Z. So basically what I used to do on air, I'd say, okay, guys, I tell the crew, we're going to do pages 3 through 5 tonight. And so I would use every single one of those words to sell words I never even heard of before sometimes. But you try to work that in sentences that you're trying to sell. It was so funny. It was funny for us. And then the audience caught on because finally one of the days I showed them what I was doing and they loved it. They went, oh my gosh, because not only you're learning words, but you're also finding other ways to describe things. People use the same tired words all the time. It's powerful.
It's powerful. I highly recommend you guys looking it up. John's book, The Authentic You. You guys were talking about massive value. Read that book. Follow John. Follow him live when he's on TikTok. Ask questions. He goes live there all the time, and he's always sharing love. And then I'm always putting great content. I start putting videos again often on YouTube. If you guys go on Carlos Inspires on the plural, I know that some of you guys know me as Carlos Inspire on TikTok and Instagram, but on YouTube is Carlos Inspires. I released a powerful video and podcast session a few episodes before this, talking about the words that connect, that convert, and that creates a buying frenzy. And it's all about word patterns that connects, converts, and creates a buying frenzy. Something that I often teach my clients one-on-one when they are selling from the stage, from the TV, on web, on webinar, on lives, and things like that. And if you guys want to get a free PDF of that, you can go to getonmorestages.com and you can read that free PDF. Value priceless. People charge $25,000 a year to join masterminds to learn some of those things that they don't even have the experience that John and I have to be teaching it to beginners. So great stuff. And then,
in fact, Carlos, I think they've got. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that on. I maybe it can't. It won't let me take it to the screen. I was going to show you. I actually have the video screens on that. It's not going to let me do it. It's right behind video.
No, brother. You know how we roll. We are live. We ain't edited. This is how we roll. That's what you're talking about when you have. If you guys notice, right, when John was cutting up a little bit on his connectivity, I just kept it going, and you just went with the flow. We didn't even stop it. That's when you know you're dealing with people experience. And then whether if I freeze over here, John would know what to do. He would keep it going, entertaining you guys in the same way, right? And John, let's talk a little bit about the impact of technology, because I mean, from QVC, HSN, AVN, to modern streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, TikTok, Facebook, man. How has technology transformed TV shopping, in your opinion? And where do you see us heading next?
Well, I was one of the ones that actually predicted the end of television shopping as we know it, meaning that, it would be around it and available in some form, but it would not be in the form that it is right now. And I think that they are starting to see that. There is a continual drop in not only the price of their stock, but it's in their sales as well. What's happening is that more people now are getting into the whole view when you want to kind of mode, where years ago, it was the only thing on TV. Unless you wanted to watch the soaps or some news program or something that was on that you didn't want to watch, you always flip it over to a shopping channel and you get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You've got friends coming into your house, telling you, selling you stuff. You're learning other things, right? And that was the viewing pattern because it was new. People weren't used to having somebody come in and sell stuff. Usually it was just the vacuum guy that would come door to door or, somebody else, right? So now it's more appointment viewing, where now it's not, people aren't going to watch you 24 hours a day. They're just not gonna. They're not going to watch you a couple of hours a day. Heck, even right now, it's hard enough to get people to watch past 3 seconds on their screens. You did it. You've done any kind of streaming. You're always looking for the next thing and something that shows you and stops you. Maybe you stop. You're lucky if you can get somebody to watch for 20 seconds. They're certainly not watching for over a minute and a half unless they're really intense in knowing the subject and want to know more about it. So that first minute and a half, 30 seconds, very important. So these shopping channels are finding that people aren't watching that longer amount of time. They're going to go later on when they get home and then maybe look at the show and, oh, wait, there's a list of products. Oh, let me see what that product is. And then they chopped up the video, right? So people are now watching just product knowledge videos and not watching the entire show unless they're interested. And that's a rarity. More people are just getting into where I want to know more information about it. Boop, there it is. Okay, look, in 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, I know how that product works. I can vision in my house and I'm going to buy it. So the shopping channels have to change like that. They do try, but the problem is they still have to make money. And Carlos, I mean, if you're like an HSN or a QVC, let's just take QVC. If you're not doing $10,000, $12,000 a minute, they're going to knock you off. They're going to you're done with the shelf because they already have products to sell. It's when they get new products in, it's the tougher entrance for a lot of people to get up to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a minute. Or, in today's world where you need $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a minute. Imagine having to sell that much product in a minute. And if you don't do it, you're not knocking one of those people off the shelf. So the whole viewership thing for television shopping has been more online now. That's why you see these product videos going up. That's why you see a lot more like on TikTok, the TikTok shop. You will see on X. X is even doing it now as well, and their platform. You're seeing it on Facebook. And it's more just, I want to see it and I'm done. I don't want to watch a whole hour just to see the one product that I want. Nothing more annoying than watch me and Carlos for an hour and only get one nugget.
Yeah. Like you gotta constantly be bringing value. And it's like people, like I often talk, you go through 60 billion messages are going out daily from everywhere. We look, TV, commercials, on a sign on a bus, you know, everywhere, everybody's promoting stuff. So how do you stand out? I often talking about this. How do you even stand out in a very, very tough, you know, very competitive crowd? And one thing that I think is very ultra important is something that you actually a master at, which is a viewer engagement, because, you know, you were given the moniker, the doctor of shopology, you know, by a caller. And how important, John, is viewer interaction, and how has that influenced your approach to hosting?
Well, you know, I think you have to involve everybody watching, right? I mean, it's like we're doing now. I mean, right now, you and I are on your platform. We're talking all over, you know, everywhere. And we're going to be, this broadcast will be seen by everybody on YouTube and all of the other platforms. And right now, we're live in my studio, which is my office. And basically, I've got TikTok on over here. And my followers on TikTok are watching us as well. So, I want them involved. I want them to be able to see us talking. So that's why I put it up here. So even though they're twice removed from the conversation, right? So it's you and me right now talking and your audience. And then over here, I have my followers on TikTok, and they're being part of it now too. So every once in a while, I'll talk to them and get them part. And I'm like, I see Chris out there. I see Ashley coming over here. Let's talk to Carlos. And I've actually asked them, I said, do you have any questions? Put them down on the bottom of your screen. Like the video, share it so that more people see Carlos and find out about more of what we're talking about as well. It's very important. So the interaction with the audience, like we can do now. So I'm talking to your audience. I've got mine over here, and we're going back and forth. They're seeing you. We've now like cornered the market as far as how many times people can actually see, hear, interact with this as well. Yeah. So you really have to be a lot more interactive, and you've got to involve your audience. And the authentic you part of it all, and being one-on-one, you're inspiring somebody to do something. And that could be just tapping the screen to show you like the video, share it so that more people see what you're watching, or getting involved in a way about buying a product, or just being motivated to, like you were helping the Olympic team, right?
Yeah, Team USA.
Getting people involved in helping them in a way. And you need to be able to bring it to them and show them what's happening and why you're doing it and what their part of it could do and bring to an aspiring athlete. Just using your example. So you always want to tie into them.
It's funny you brought that up. I love it, because just like the simple fact that I always tell my fathers, drop a comment below. I'll bring you over here, and I give people a shout out. We have people live on Facebook. We have Brian. Shout out to Brian on Facebook. Shout out to Lisa on LinkedIn, right? We got people watching us from everywhere. We have people watching you live right now on TikTok. So we are streaming everywhere. Whenever you hear from people, your friends, I seen you everywhere. That's a great thing to hear. It's actually showing that you are doing something. Like right now, we are on several platforms at the same time. That's why I love Podbean. Podbean is where I stream my podcast, and I'm over here with StreamYard. Love using StreamYard because I'm able to stream live, being everywhere. If you guys want to learn more, just check it out, StreamYard. Maybe if you're on YouTube, you can see some of the links in the descriptions. Look what I just did here, right? Talking about platforms that John and I love it. Then we have links in the description. We are affiliates to these platforms, where now we earn affiliate from our followers. They're going to want to use it. They see that we enjoy it. You guys see me over here bringing things on the screen. I bring photos of John when he was young. This one over here was, he was my first, I saw a Twitter from you, and my first home shopping network, AVN, America's Value Network, broadcast out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and owned by Menards, was 22 years old, and never thought I would be in broadcasting for 37 years.
Yeah, no, think about that. That was 22. So 40 years later, I look like this.
Okay, I'm not. Let me guess something. I love it. And, so that's so cool, my brother. And John, let's talk about product development insights. Something that I often tell my clients and potential clients, people that come and talk to me, like I tell them, put it out there, have a few people test it out for free, give you feedback. before you go on full blown so you can actually have data. I'm big in data mining, the same way how often you guys see me on the stage. What I always give you guys $1 million pro tip. If you're struggling with sales, you call the last 3 people that gave you money and you ask them, where in the heart of hearts did you decided emotionally and financially to buy my products, to hire me as your coach, as your speaker, as your consultant? When you ask a person that paid you money for whatever you sell, where did they head you at hello? Where did they decide to buy from you emotionally and financially? If you can pinpoint to the millisecond, to that second, which story did you tell? What did you say? What were you holding on in your hand? Was it a crazy chicken that helps you deal with anxiety? Whatever it is, it's again, what I just did here. Oh, Carlos, you were so funny. You were holding on to the chicken, interviewing John and giving $1 million tip. I never called my last 10 clients and to ask them when did I had them at hello, and you heard, and you grab the chicken that deals with to deal with the anxiety and to squash him so you don't squash your wife. And then, when you say, look, it's like being able to entertain, educate, having a great time. You got to be doing what you love. Because of the feedback that I get, John, when they go back and they call the last 5, 10 people, oh my God, I didn't know that I have people when I say this, or when I say that, or when I use this product, or when I hold it, and I was like, you getting the data from the lion's mouth.
Well, and so what was one of the cool things about television shopping in the early days, it first was a screen that let us know how many people were coming in the first gate of the phone system. So basically it was up or down. It was just an arrow. And you could see like every 30 seconds to 40 seconds, if there was more people coming in or less. It got to the point where literally it was refreshing every 7 seconds. And then it got down to 3 seconds. So I could literally gauge the response from the audience, not after the show was over, but while it was happening. So I could be talking about a feature and relating it to how it could be used in your house, right? Next thing I know, I'm watching a computer screen and there's colors and it's a graph and it's going up. And I see a spike. So then I put in my mind's eye, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go back and hit that a little bit later. So then I go and I start doing a pitch again, and then it goes down a little bit and it comes back up. And I see a second spike, then a third. Now I know the 3 points that are really hitting. So then at the end, the last few minutes of the product presentation, I'm hitting those because I know that's what sold it. Those 3 things, or that one thing, or you saw when people's eyes lit up when you're in a room and you're selling something. You all of a sudden see where a point that you're making all of a sudden clicks. And they're like, I want to buy that. This is the time to do it. So on the television shopping channels, they have a producer now that does that. It used to be the host could do it as well and see it happening. So then I could gauge my pitch. Now they try to get that away from the host. So the producers are doing it. And then you just have to trust your producers telling you that it's going up or down or what to hit on. If the good producers will let you know that, hey, what you just said inspired a lot of people to buy something. And they're reacting to certain ways, to certain things. And you can do that in live too, Carlos. I mean, you see it when you're in front of a crowd. You can see the people that are, when you're talking about something, they're nodding their head. They're looking, they're going, yes, they're pointing at you. And they're agreeing with you. You know that you just hit on something that probably a lot of other people are. It's just that some of them won't tell you. They're just going to sit there, right? They're not going to be like, oh, yeah.
So it's funny that you're talking over here, and I'm just thinking about moments when I was on TV consulting and then telling the host, don't do that. And I would hold things on my head. No. I'm looking and I'm watching the sales going down. Don't do it. And I'll have to write it down, some words in a big paper. It's like, don't you're not listening? And this is so, and that's why I'm like, as you're talking, I'm like laughing, thinking about this shit, and like, just listen. And John, let's go a little bit more deeper into this. I'm really enjoying this conversation about product development insights, because you and I help so many companies with product development and marketing. And what is the one key advice that you would recommend to inventors and entrepreneurs looking to break into online shopping industry, since TV shopping is kind of dying? So I'm not going to go there. since you pretty much called it a TV shop, but it's going under. And
well, I mean, it's not that it's going under. It's just that it's seeing a decline, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some of us thought it might be faster. And there are times, the only thing that really kept the decline from not happening as fast as it was happening before was COVID.
Yeah.
Because then you had people that were like stuck inside their house. They had to watch something. So naturally it stopped the fall. But now we're past that now, right? And we're doing more things outside. It's still falling. So they have to find a way to engage the audience a lot quicker. And, and if you're an entrepreneur, let's say, like to your question, how do you get it? How do you get people to be inspired by your product enough to buy it? Well, it's the messenger. It's the expert. Now, you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Well, can I just hire a pitch man and he could go out there and pitch it? Yeah, he could. But the authentic way to pitch it and the way that most people will relate to it is the fact that you created it. It's your idea. You spent hundreds of hours developing the product, getting the patent, getting the prototype. You spent hours doing that, trying to make something that looks and feels like what you're trying to sell. You had to go find investors. You had to be out in front of people with your pitch and see what worked and what didn't work. And you're in all of this, you're trying to become the expert in that product. So at the end of the day, I could get, in the day, I would go call my friend Billy Mays and say, Billy, pitch this, right? But no, now it's you. People respond more to the inventor, the entrepreneur, the person that created the idea. So now what you need to do is just be an expert at it and being able to do this authenticness and being full of the information that you need to be able to take it from like a television shopping entity to online. Because you watch, now people in a minute, you're finding out about a product. And right now they're getting very creative. I don't know, Carlos, if you've been watching some of the AI-inspired videos, the sales videos, product videos for product. I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them on TikTok. Basically, my audience over here on this screen, TikTok, and all you watching as well. But, they're using AI to, say, hey, make me a video that'll sell a portable power source that's recharged by the sun. You never have to plug it in. And it will literally put this video together. You give it some images, and by the time it's all done, it's giving you a 1-minute pitch or an idea that will hit the audience at the points that it needs to be, because it did all the research in a matter of seconds, and put a video together that you can use to sell product, like on TikTok, like I do, or some of the other platforms out there where you can actually sell product. You want to get them in less than the first 10 seconds, or at least the first 3, get them interested. If they can stay for a minute, they'll probably buy it.
Yes. And a good tool that I've been using it for a while, John. Nothing would ever replace, if you have a personality like in a charisma like John and myself, use it, guys. Use it to your advantage and do the videos. Don't rely primarily on AI. However, there are some mind-blowing AI tools. One that I've really been using it for a while called invideo.ai. I'll put a link under the descriptions. It's mind-blowing. You go over there and you just give it a command. Create me a video to sell a weight loss product. Create me a video to sell X. Whatever you wanted to sell, you can tell the mood you wanted the video to be in. You can tell the speed. You wanted to go fast. You wanted to go like Carlos Inspire with a raspy voice. Or you wanted to go kind of low, like when I talk like a Donald Duck. Whatever, right? You see, I can be a character. I can
be able to understand you, but yeah.
I can make sounds and do my voice and stuff. But this, you can have the AI bring it to whatever you want it to be, and it will cut it, and will edit it, and will put the whole thing together in less than a couple of minutes. So it's mind-blowing what can be done. Pro tip, take it to another level, edit a piece of you in there, bring your charisma so they can see it's John, it's Carlos. Now that's next level. When you bring you and AI together, now we are taking to a whole nother level, because now you bridge in both. And I often talk about the future of AI, which is us bringing you and AI to work together side by side, which is going to help you guys sell your products and things like that. I love it, John. And John, a lot of people out there are struggling right now. Even throughout COVID, a lot of businesses are going under. I often talk a lot about how 90% of not just businesses, but a lot of coaches, consultants, people that are following us over here on social media, that listen to the podcast over the years.
Yeah.
And they're going under like 3, 4, 5 years from now, most of businesses, unfortunately. And it makes me really sad because, you know, I love helping people, and I hate seeing people going back to their 9 to 5 and not continue their coaching, their consulting career, or they into finance, their financial advisor, insurance advisor. And I wanted those guys to be successful. And what are some of the challenges, and like the biggest ones that you face in your career, and how you overcome them to achieve such a lasting success, my friend? You're almost 4 decades in the game, and you continue to you know, making records and just legendary.
It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. I mean, and those of you that are watching on our TikTok, by all means, click your screen. I think you're gonna like what I'm going to say here, and you too. It's the intestinal fortitude to continue on. A lot of people, once they hit their first wall, that adversity makes them stop. They don't want to go forward. But at that moment, I tell them, look, you did something. You created something. You spent your life building something. You are a person that people want to hear from. You created something that literally solves a problem, that makes life better. So don't give up. I mean, adversity, you're always going to have it. And, you know, if you go to the adage of selling stuff and 1 out of every 10 people might buy it, there's going to be 9 people that are going to say you're crazy and not buy it. Go for the 1 and consider that a win. And then every time that you get a win, somebody likes your product, somebody buys your product, somebody likes your idea, says, great job, what a great day. That's a win. And the more times that you can do that, and I don't care what you've done, whether you've invented something, you're selling something, you're trying to motivate people, you're hiring people, get those wins, because you're developing a pattern. And the more times that you get a win, and it can be the smallest little thing, it can be the biggest thing, and you just keep going that pattern, you'll notice that your confidence is going to grow, because you're always looking for wins. So you're always looking for a way to make it better, right? So you're not giving up. The biggest thing that most inventors and most entrepreneurs do, they spend all their money developing something and creating something, and then not waiting around to sell it, or take the first no as, well, they don't like it, and you wasted all your time. Because your time is not wasted if you spent that much time on it. Now you just have to find a way to, you know, keep yourself motivated and not give up. The moment you give up, the moment you say that my product's not good, or I don't know what I'm doing, or don't change maybe you listen to the audience and say, okay, you're right, but make that a positive experience, not a bad one. Carlos doesn't like my widget. He doesn't think it's shiny enough. Well, we make it shinier so that Carlos will like it next time. It's that thing. So you don't take the nose and just let it blow you out of the water. Take the nose as a way to challenge you to be better. And once you do that, and you go like my whole culture of win thing, and that's really what it is. And you become that person that's always motivating, always looking for the next big thing, always looking for a solution to a problem. You can do it. It's not that hard. And as people on my TikTok realize that, you know, I've talked a lot about this, that people see it. If you are you, and you're the authentic you, and you're not somebody just putting on airs, right? They know it. They can feel it. Even if they're 1,000 miles away, and they're just watching on a little screen on a phone out of their patio. They know that you're being real, and they're going to be drawn to that more, and they're going to see your positive nature, and you're trying to, to keep going on, even though times can be tough. And today we really are. We're in headwinds. It's not as easy as everybody's saying it is. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are having a problem right now, as you've probably seen. So just, stay inspired. Keep believing that you're going the right path. And if you know that you're not going the right path, you start realizing it, then change course, and take that as a win. You learned something. Now move to the next level and keep going. I mean, Carlos has done the same thing. When Carlos develops his motivational and inspirational speeches and talks to his people, he knows that there are things that work and some things didn't. So he goes, okay, I'm gonna change it. Yeah. And the next time you go out, then you change it, and there you go. You're at the next level. People all of a sudden are being inspired by what you're saying. So
I love it.
It's a lot of that, dude. I mean, I think that it really is. You just can't give up. And I tell that because there are a lot of inventors that get taken advantage of and get downtrodden because it didn't go as big as they thought right away. It's at that moment when you're at your lowest that the best things happen.
Yeah.
And as long as you continue to change and motivate yourself, you'll see the success.
Yes. No, and it's as you're talking, I mean, I'm just reflecting over here as I travel a lot around the world, and I hear so many stories, and from so many people, and it's just like keep it going when you don't feel like it, and just getting better, right? Understanding not just what like think about really in depth, be tactical about understanding what does your clients really want. How can you help them solve that problem that they are going through, that they are struggling, and if you can help them solve it, like John said, right, being the authentic you, going for the no, making more offers. Literally, you are adding value, right? You're putting content out there all the time. It's totally okay. Just like right now, we over here having a podcast. If I'll put a banner over here under the screen, what books are you reading lately, right? It's totally okay. Even though I'm not saying it, you guys are reading, right? Work Like an Immigrant, one of my books, international bestseller. We are helping feeding families, feeding hunger, 100% of the proceeds. Why am I doing that? Because once upon a time, I wish that I had somebody that would come in and feed us when I was in the streets, when I was in the, but it's totally okay. Don't be ashamed. Oh, I'm not going to have a little ticker underneath my show on my live talking about my products and services. Why not? You're adding massive value. That's what this show is about. It's about bringing massive value, because John and I understand, my audience understand that some people out there, they cannot afford coaching. They cannot afford consulting. And one golden nugget that they can learn here today on our show, it can be the difference of them. It's amazing how many letters I get over the years, John. People that were about to kill themselves because they saw me interviewing somebody amazing like you, or Sharon Lecter, or my good friend Frank Shankwitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish, rest in peace. That's me a few years ago. He'd been on the show, or amazing people that have been on our show. Yeah, as well, from the Raiders, and the incredible story of every guest that been here, man. And that's why I love, hearing these questions of the struggles, to keep it going, to believe in yourself. If a little kid 30 years ago was selling bread on the streets with the hope to leave the barrio because his dad died and his stepfather was murdered and he didn't want to be here anymore, that little kid grew up, man. And I'm happy that God told me not to step myself and to keep it going and to be the beacon of hope and transformation, because we are winning tomorrow by winning today. And you keep it going, and you keep it going, and you never and you listen to this podcast over and over and over again, and you show up on TikTok and you hang out with my brother JC because he rhymes. Look at me rhyming, But John, looking ahead as we're getting towards the end, people often say, I should do the podcast show, 40 minutes. Don't do it too long. Now, I like to do things that are different. I don't care. I don't go for timing. I go for inspiration and transformation. Yeah. And as you look forward, John, and looking ahead, what's some of your goals? I mean, you already achieved so much, but any goals and aspirations for the future? How do you plan to continue to influencing the world of TV shopping, online shopping, and beyond, and all the great things? What are you up to now?
I guess, I look at, like, when I use TikTok, and all my viewers right now on TikTok, by all means, like the video, share it, let the people see, Carlos, he's a very good and very inspiring young man, great guy, and somebody you can listen to and watch his podcast, like we're doing right now, his podcast. My thing, is, I think, as I don't want to call it the twilight years, but it is, the years that I think I can motivate and inspire more people to be good to people. And that's been my motivation over the last couple of years, is just trying to lift people up, and give them the tools that they need to make themselves better, to get the wins of life, to be able to, be an entrepreneur or be a person that comes up with solutions to problems, to everyday problems, and lifting their lives up so they can help their family. They can help their loved ones. They can help their neighbors, their friends, people in their community. So that's kind of my mantra now, is the lifting up of people. And the more that, my group, and I call my group Team Dream, because we're all dreamers. We're all trying to be better, and we're all trying to make a better world for everyone. It's that kind of thing that motivates me. I get inspired when I talk to people like, Carlos, because he's inspiring. I love his spirit. He's got a heart bigger than himself, and he's pretty tall. So, I mean, that's a pretty big heart.
I love you, brother. I love you, my friend.
That's what it is, dude. That's
I love it, brother. I just love supporting and helping my friends in any way I can. And I'm always inspired by you every time I see you, when we're traveling or we meet each other, whether we meet each other on TikTok lately or we're meeting each other.
karaoke.
Yeah, back in the day on the karaoke. Those are the best conversations ever that we take it to the grave. And I'm just an honor to have you on the show. This show is going to be long after you and I are no longer here. And that's what I strive for, is to bring some great people that done something and left their mark in this planet. And speaking of that, John, the final question of the show that I ask every guest of mine is,
I like donuts.
Yes, your eulogy. So, it's going to be a sad day, but we're all going to be there. All the incredible friends. And, I'm not going to let nobody be sad. We're going to be playing AC/DC.
Oh, I be it, but I won't be talking in that.
Right? We'll be playing AC/DC, Metallica, Led Zeppelin, Ozzy Osbourne, and then smoking some cigars and having some scotch. And there's going to be a moment where your best friend, the person that you love the most, one of your very close friends, is going to be reading your eulogy. And he's going to say, or she, John Cremeans was ... In your own words, who was John Cremeans?
The guy that cared. A guy that was authentic. He let you see him both inside and out. Somebody that loved humanity, loved the world, gave of himself, and hopefully entertained as well. He was an oracle. The guy that, the people would come to and would ask questions of first, because he usually knew the answer. That was that guy. John was the guy that loved bacon, big, thick strips of it. He would be there at the end when things were bad. He'd be there to lift you up and be there when it was good as well. That's John Cremeans. That's who I am. And that's kind of what I live my life and strive to be for so many years.
I love you, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to get rumble? That is the incredible John Cremeans. What a truly inspiring journey, my friend, from pioneering TV to shopping to becoming an industry icon. Your story is just a testament of innovation, resilience, and passion. And I'm truly honored to have you sharing your insights in our show. And I'm looking forward to our listeners. Remember to stay curious, keep pushing boundaries. As John has shown us, never underestimate the power of a great pitch. Until next time, this is your boy, Carlos Inspire in the house. And because John was here, it's about to go down. Much